This is a quick video on the plumbing, which I just finished for the Glasscages 6-foot tank. I've never plumbed such a large tank before. Definitely not for the faint of heart. I did watch the guys who did my original Innovative Marine tank install, so I learned a lot from just watching them. I also learned some stuff yesterday and the day before, but I think it turned out pretty well. I dry fit everything and then took it all apart and glued it, and I'll show a couple things that I did notice with gluing. Some mistakes that I made. I found these brackets on Amazon for 3/4 inch and 1 inch pipe. And so I used them. Had to put some wood spacers for some of them, but I used them to lock in all of the plumbing along the way, especially the ones that have a long run. Like this one here is a really long run. It's just kind of dangling, but they are very tight now. Really solid, all of them. Also, the overflow box company, because this is plastic, strongly recommended not having any weight pulling down on the overflow. So this one I wasn't worried about because it goes straight down, but the other two I put brackets on. Turned out pretty well, I must say. It looks pretty good. And then we'll look at the sump. So I've got my two Vector M2s that will be up to the 2 returns. One of them does tee off. It's got a 3-way tee, and then it tees off and comes around to my UV sterilizer, which some people say should not dump back into the sump, but whatever. This configuration works for me, and then if I want to, I can easily add stuffed manifolds with all the unions that I have. So worked out pretty well. That's my emergency overflow, and then my primary and secondary drains there. But all in all, went well. Also put a bracket because of this long run up here. But yeah. And then one thing I did want to mention is that I learned pretty early on that one of the things you want to make sure when you're gluing is you always want to put the glue on the pipe first. Because usually what you'll do is you'll take your glue out with a little sponge, wipe it on the pipe first, because you'll get a little excess on the first wipe, but that's okay. Second wipe should be around the fitting, and then you push it in. Reason being, if you do the fitting first and there's a little bit of excess, it gets pushed into your actual pipe itself. The excess on this pipe gets pushed down this way, and it just accumulates kind of like this, and you can wipe it away, but who cares? If you do it for the fitting itself, it ends up in the middle of the pipe and then will restrict flow. So I definitely learned that the hard way, and I had some repairs to do, taking stuff out. I'm a little concerned that I caught it late, and I hope I didn't really restrict flow, but oh well, it is what it is. So that's the main thing. And then the other thing is if you have sharp angles, you got to be real careful in marking. I'll show you how I marked. I did screw up on one of them. This one was really tough because it had this angle here and came down to an elbow, to another elbow, and as you can see, that white pipe is because I had to cut it and fix my screw up. But you end up having to make double marks so you can really, I made double so I can really, line up, because when you're gluing, you have to glue, unless it's on a straight union. If it's a straight union, it doesn't matter, it can spin. But for all these where there's no unions, you have to be perfect. And I wasn't perfect on that one. But otherwise, the rest of them turned out pretty well. And tomorrow we'll be moving the tank into the house. And I'll start posting some updates about that as I fill it up and start moving all the livestock from the garage. I'm excited.